This conference will now be recorded.
I'll call the Airport Advisory Commission meeting for Tuesday, January the 8th to order. Della, would you please call the roll?
Chair Kunkel,
Present?
Vice Chair Frazier,
Present.
Commissioner Hitchcock,
Present.
Commissioner Powell,
Present.
Commissioner Holly.
Here.
Chair Kunkel,
First thing we need to do is approve the agenda. We've got that in front of you. Look at that for just a minute, and then the chair will entertain a motion to approve the agenda, unless we've got some additions or corrections.
There are no other changes. I move approval.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All those in favor signify so by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. We also have the minutes, Della. Thank you for that. If you haven't looked at the minutes, take just a minute or two to look at those, and then we'll approve or correct those. John, did you see any complaints on the minutes?
This was corrected,
Okay.
but this, and Bobby, I had made a suggestion in 2B where you reviewed the points on the strategic plan. And it might not be appropriate to document the details in our minutes, but somehow if you could maybe expand them in the strategic plan document or something by bullets with more specifics to help us understand the direction we're headed in. It was the suggestion. So I don't think we need to amend the minutes. That might be too burdensome.
So John, why don't you and Bobby get together after the meeting or phone call or something so that she understands?
Oh, I think she,
Yeah, no, I'm there.
Okay,
thank you.
all right. Any corrections or additions to the minutes as presented? If not, Chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Mr. Chair, a motion to approve the minutes of the July 8th meeting, or whatever, not today's
June
July
3rd.
8th, June 3rd meeting. Sorry.
Do I hear a second? Second. Motion been made and seconded to approve the minutes for the June 3 Airport Advisory Commission meeting minutes. All those in favor signify so by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. So let's go into airport operations report. Bobby, starting with revenue and expenses. You've got that in your packets, by the way.
Well, we do find it. We've been working the last few days to try to get that information in finance. But due to the beginning of the new fiscal year and the finance system of Tyler being down for 3 days, our finance could not provide us with numbers.
So even though we delayed the meeting by a full week, so we'd have those, we still don't have them.
We were trying as late as this morning to try to get, because they could get us some numbers, but they couldn't guarantee the accuracy. So I was just trying to get the report on inaccurate numbers.
So we've gone 2 months now with no financial data.
So as soon as we get those out of finance, we will get those.
Okay. We probably need to make sure that we retrieve the May financial data also,
Absolutely.
both May and June.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Okay, let's go into, okay, Bobby, you got a chair there. Let's go into strategic plan updates, please.
Okay. In your packet, if you can read up there. So the things that we're currently on target with the strategic plan schedule. The first item is a comprehensive search to identify federal, state, and local funding. So we've been working very diligently trying to clean up a lot of the grant information, get all the files updated, make sure that all the reimbursement money has been filed for and collected. So we'll continue to do that. We have a number of grants that we are working on, and as going forward, John, I'll certainly provide you all the details on each of those grants.
Thank you.
And then the airport facility assessment and airport real estate plan. This one we're doing in-house rather than hiring someone, although we do have Molson Corbin will be doing a evaluation with 1083 or by Built-Wise. Yeah, building 1083, because that is a good facility that's been not used at all for a number of years. They're going to be doing a full assessment of that building going forward so that we can determine what the cost is to get that in a good leasable state, if possible, as long as it doesn't exceed what we could make in revenue. So once they have that completed, then we'll report back to you what we found and what our intent is going forward with that building. It's a very nice building on just a lot of maintenance items.
Bobby, on that building, because it's so big and it's more office space than anything else, that may be the biggest office space out here. And because there's so much that needs to be done to it, when Molson Corbin gives us their thoughts on that, especially as relates to thoughts on what it can be leased for, because we don't know what it can be leased for. I sure think that leasing it, just my opinion, that leasing it as opposed to letting it sit there longer is something that we need to consider to get it being used again. And so I'd sure like to consider a number on that may be advantageous to a possible tenant to get them in there. Not saying that we need to do something that's outlandish, but to get a tenant in there would sure be preferable to having a lease up here and not having anybody in it, especially if the city ends up putting a bunch of money into it to fix it up. Now, if they fix it up, it's a different story.
And of course, one of the advantages we have there is it's outside the perimeter fence,
Right.
which gives us a little more flexibility in establishing the rates. We have had some people already looking at it. A lot of the maintenance on it is aesthetics, but it's aesthetic that costs money, ceiling tiles, that kind of thing. So while we're getting the evaluation done, we'll also be doing a market analysis to determine that rate and talking to some of the people that have previously taken tours of the building.
Bobby, at what point will the ILEA building be something you can manage
Well, they
or
have-
offer?
Right now, they have not terminated their lease. They
Oh,
still
okay
have an
then.
active lease.
Good.
And that's good until when, Bobby?
And it's paid through October.
Okay.
So even though they've moved the furniture out, which ironically enough, they gave to Job Corps. The Job Corps, we met with some of them today and they're good till June of next year. But yeah, ILEA has not confirmed that they will not be using that building going forward. They do have to give us a 90-day notice. So at the point that they have a 90-day notice, then we can get actively involved in seeing what can happen with that building. Of course, that is a lovely building.
Did Job Corps get all the building, the furniture?
They got all the furniture from ILEA.
I'll look up and see if we can get it back. I'll use your rent.
And then, of course, the manager of ILEA has already taken another position in DC.
that may be to our advantage. What's Moles and Corbin's drop dead date to give us some information?
Mike, you're online. Do you have a schedule on doing the evaluation of that building? You're muted.
There we are. I know Vince Payne and architect staff is working on it. I'm gonna take an IOU on that, and I'll email you, Bobby, on that expected report date. I know that we did the site visit with Mac, walked through the entire building facility. There's two buildings really, one older and then one was added on. Both are kind of one's got some code. Well, they both have some code issues, but one has probably some other issues. But we'll get those documents. I'm gonna have to get with Vince and find out the date on that. I don't know that.
Okay.
Mike, while you're on, I want to take just a minute and thank you for what Moles and Corbin did on these downstairs bathrooms, moving through the process, getting plans and things like that. You heard us and we appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate that, sir. But I tell you what, the city has a lot of that credit goes to the city for working that as well. So back at you guys there. That was a good way to go. And I was there last week, and it's all torn up. I think that's good. They're moving forward anyway, so
That's
that's
the way it's supposed to be.
yeah. So I know there's a
All
lot
right.
of noise.
All right, Bobby, go ahead.
Any other questions on that item? If not, we'll go on to the third item down, which is develop and align standard agreement for the development lease of airport land. That one is complete. We have completed that. We have new templates on both building leases and land leases that we've been working with now for a couple of months. Then review of the FBO agreement, existing products and services. Met with the Aflight folks again last week with the new FBO manager who's here with us today. Where'd you sit down? Oh, there you are.
Right here.
You're hiding behind no more. That's Mr. Kevin Brown, and he's going to report to us here in a little bit, so we'll get an update from him. But several items there that most of you are already aware of that we need to do in improving not only services, but appearance and operations of the FBO facility. And then also in the next item, which is FBO related, on how future FBO products and services will be delivered to airport users. And when I'm talking airport users, I'm talking not only the folks that are here now, but the general aviation traffic that we have not done a good job in the past in bringing to the airport that we'd like to certainly expand upon. So then tenant feedback survey, rather than doing a survey that's easy to either ignore or not do at all, we just continue to meet with tenants. There's a lot of tenant issues that we're trying to work on and resolve. Some are our fault, some are tenants' fault, some are both of our faults. There's just a lot of cleanup that we need to do, and we will continue to work that. I think we've switched from a large shovel to a front-end loader to try to get a lot of that accomplished, but there's just a lot of work to be done there with tenant relations, going both directions. Then conducted a comprehensive search to federal, state, and funding for economic development. That's definitely an ongoing project. And we continue to report those to you. We're in the process of doing we've got 7 construction projects going on right now on the airport, which are all grant related, either state, federal, to various departments within the state. The state, as I reported previously, has been a lot more generous to this airport in the past than the federal government, but we're trying to remedy that and make the federal government kick in with a lot more money to do a great number of projects that need to be done here. And we'll be reporting on those projects a little later on. Facility maintenance plan. Right now, we're still in the flood recovery mode, and until we get all the flood stuff finally done, which Mac will be reporting on later, we really can't address the other maintenance plans other than the ones you're aware of here in the terminal. And of course, the ones we're getting ready for the races, which some of those are actually maintenance plans. We do have a large number, as you know, of very old buildings on the airport. And some, I think, in the very near future, we're gonna have to make decisions on whether those buildings continue or we start looking about taking them down to make room for future development on them. We did get a quote for the removal of buildings 112 and 115, that being the one that burnt, and the one next to it that's been unoccupied for a while, and that was slightly over $1 million to tear those two buildings down. So developing leasing rents and fees, which we're going to be working on some more of those. We have a number, as you saw in the state audit report, of holdover leases that we need to get out of that. We're working with several tenants right now on new leases with the new lease template that I talked about earlier to get those done at more of a current market rent and try to get all that resolved. We're going to hear a lot more about those certainly in the coming months as we try to improve upon the relationship with tenants and get things a lot more solid to get this airport functioning as it should be. On the spaceport feasibility study, we have an appointment on the 25th of this month to visit the spaceport in Truth or Consequences. And then the 20 folks from the spaceport organization will be coming here. I believe it's the second week of August. So we'll visit their facilities, see what they have, see what they're looking for, so that when they come here in August, we can show them things that they would be most interested in. The lady that I've been dealing with says they are extremely excited about opportunities in Roswell. So that's moving forward very nicely. So with the air service development, we've got a rather lengthy thing to report on that. I guess I thought John was going to ask me that question, so I did get more detail. I've been working with Gary Foss. We continue to have issues with American not being able to adhere to a schedule. As you know, their pricing is a little higher than market for most places. And if you don't do a continuous ticket to another location, it's even higher than standard. But what we happened, Carlsbad put out a request for airline service, but they do have some restrictions because they really haven't established their TSA requirements there. So there's companies that do charter, companies that do 121 or airline service, and then there's companies that fall under 380, which is sort of a higher charter, which is a scheduled charter as opposed to an on-demand charter. So that was the only one they attracted, and it is actually it's a SkyWest operation, and they're going to try to do a flight to Dallas. They're doing it on Embraer, so it's a 30-seat activity. But of course, then they're restricted when they go into a Dallas because they haven't gone through TSA, so they restricted on where they can go on the airport.
Terry Brown is now out at ABC News after 28 years. The network releasing a statement stating
But the good news on that is, even though that's a Dallas flight out of Carlsbad, the good news on that is that has opened up with a little more vigor our conversations with United. So we'll be moving forward, developing an RFP with our consultant, getting that ready to put out. Then we will go to the state with United information, with the RFP and any responses we get on the RFP for additional carriers. But right now, he's thinking that a United flight to Denver is better than 50% possibility within the coming months. So we'll go through, we've got, already have a grant that's been sitting here for a while, it's $750,000 to help us get that money. The state has the minimum annual guarantee grant in place already. So with an RFP, with a commitment letter from United, and a possible route and the 750 we have to support it and minimum and annual guarantee, then the money from the state would be 3.5 million a year to support that traffic for a minimum for 2 years. So hopefully in 2 years, they could get fairly well established so that they would continue with that.
So does that mean we wouldn't need surrounding communities to assist with that?
We have to come up with another 750, so we would certainly reach out to John, to surrounding communities to try to add to that and not be all our burden.
Probably any activity with this is gonna be post races.
No, actually, Gary Foss and I will continue to work on it. We're not gonna stop now.
Okay,
We should have the RFP ready late August.
okay.
So if I may ask, that would imply that the city needs to be considering whether they want to fund that in the next, or we're in the new fiscal year now, if we can get United to commit.
Our maximum exposure would be the 750.
Right.
And then whatever regional support we could get, probably not Carlsbad, whatever regional support we can get to offset some of that.
So regional from that perspective really means
I think it would be
Ruidoso
Artesia, Ruidoso.
in Ruidoso and Lincoln County. That's about it. Alamogordo's not gonna be participatory, I wouldn't think. Cause they'll go to El Paso. So we have our finance guy here somewhere. There he is. Good.
He's over there.
Oh.
When he's finance guy, this is the legal guy.
Okay, well, we got both of them here, so.
Well,
I just want you to listen.
I wasn't gonna say a word till you looked at it.
Okay. All right.
Well, and we would certainly work towards that, whatever the local share is coming out of airport revenues, nothing from the city.
Okay.
So then the last item on your strategic plan update has to do with additional funding for developing and executing a marketing campaign. And for that, we've been doing some work with state tourism. Most of it right now, as you might imagine, is directed towards the air racing side of things. Although we are also, as you heard Gary Foss talk about last month, we're developing a marketing campaign for airline activity.
All right, any questions of Bobby on strategic plan
Okay.
updates?
Oh, no, that's the first one.
Yeah, I'm through.
I'm done.
Okay, good. Unless you want to go through it again. All right. Okay, any questions to Bobby on strategic plan updates? All right. Omar, let's move forward. Did we get info on boardings and things?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
I think they're out. So for the passenger boarding for the month of June, 2024, we had 3605. And this year, for the month of June, we had 5927. Which is a huge increase. Yeah,
so looking at both May and June, that's a pretty good increase.
sure is.
We had 3 planes instead of 2.
Yes.
Yeah, we've had 3 planes all year though.
No,
No.
they've had months where they cut us down to 2,
Is that right?
and they're
Okay.
talking about doing that again in October.
Okay.
I think there's like a month that cut it down. So as we look at the airport flight operations though, for the month of June, we were down compared to last year, 2,083 down to 1,407. But I think we talked about it last month that it was a lot was the Navy
And weather.
and weather. airport, the aircraft parking. For the month of June, we had 198, which is down probably about 39 planes from last year, same month.
What do we get this? How much?
I think it depends on the size of the aircraft.
$10 a day to $7 a day, or?
Yes, we collect about 80,000 that we invoice every month. Ballpark. With parking and lighting, well, combined, so parking isn't, lighting isn't that much. The majority of the parking.
Parking fees.
Everyone hear that?
So the amount you had, that's invoice monthly, how effective are we in receiving payments on those invoices?
Pretty effective. Do you want to do a spreadsheet?
No, just generalities. I mean, you know, if you may invoice 10 people, do you get paid by 10 or you get paid by 8 or, I'm, you know, in rough numbers?
About 2 customers that don't.
It generally is
They
pretty
pay, they're
good.
just slow.
Thank you.
And when they're slow, they get a 2% finance charge out.
So
Thank
if
you.
it's ballpark 80,000 a month, I mean, we're pretty stable on that income level to the airport so far every month this year. Okay. All right. Any other questions for Omar? Okay, let's go, Omar, to item number 4, wind damage claims.
Really don't have anything new to update on that one. So far, everything's been taken care of. The only one we're still waiting on is, the Baldwin. Team Baldwin. That's it.
So how close are we to finishing these up?
Pretty close. Like I said, the last one is just Team Baldwin out of for the 4 buildings that we had. The other buildings have been taken care of.
Okay.
We just got the Team Baldwin one.
I spoke to the contractor recently, and they've had some openings in their schedule, and so I think we can get them in here pretty soon.
Okay. Because if I remember right, originally we thought we were gonna have all those done sometime in June.
Yeah.
And so we're still
Still
working on it.
We're still waiting on, that. I think it's their schedule now, that
So hopefully,
contractor.
July, August, to get the 23 stuff completed and over.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the issue's certainly been finding roofing companies that are reliable, that can get through. And with everything that's happened within the city, getting on their schedule.
Okay. All right. Let's start in then on our project list. And let's talk about ADB first from Lochner.
Jay is not here.
I know that's an ongoing monthly process, and he does stuff as needed or as requested.
Yeah, he works with the city or the air center on that. And whatever they have going on, I'm not quite sure where he is now.
I'm trying to remember. I think he said that
the 29th of this month on that. Have quite a bit of comments, well, not comments, just people interested, so we should be good on that.
Okay.
On that. But yeah, it's out to bid.
And then remind me, once that goes out to bid, if it's within parameters, what kind of time frame are we looking at?
Actually, as soon as we get the bid, we'll have the grant, probably within 2 days to the city, the grant application for the grant on that. We're using bill money on that. So they're gonna turn it around pretty quick. So I'd say let's say we open end of July, we'll have something probably, as soon as the city can get the grant application signed. We'll have grants, I would imagine, by right around the first part of September. We'll have money in it.
And then actual construction to completion is 60 to 90 days?
60 days.
Okay, so that, if everything goes right, end of November is what we're saying.
Yes, sir. That's
Okay.
barring weather or anything to get hit. The good thing is, this isn't really temperature dependent on anything.
Right.
It's just getting electricians to work in the cold.
John,
It's cold.
John can do that, can he?
Can do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Far exceeded their 45-day turnaround.
Well, I knew that they'd had it.
I never met that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, we're just waiting on comments. We should get that taken care of here.
All right, of course, item number C, the loading pit. The taxiway, we're just in a hold pattern on that.
We have a notice to proceed, we're shooting for August 4th to get started construction. We've got with the BLM and they're done with their services. We've got with the contractor and we're looking at August 4th.
And the one question I've still got on that then is the great device that had to be cast.
We have the grade on in hand.
It's in hand?
Yep.
Okay.
It's ordered and the heavy duty grade is ordered and it's on site. Well, not here, but it's at the yard.
Okay. So ordered means it's physically
here.
constructed.
It's more than ordered. It's delivered.
Okay, all right. Okay, MAP apron rehab out here in front.
Well, we started on Monday. We're out here. We're doing. We're starting with the asphalt because we had some due to the flooding. We had some asphalt, so we actually flopped over to the south side of Alpha. We have Alpha, a portion of Alpha closed, and we're doing the shoulder and shoulder work on that. That was actually out of standard. That the floods you've gotten, probably 3 of them, just ripped up that asphalt there. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to flop over to the north side.
And the north side is concrete?
No, it's also asphalt for this portion. We're going to do as much asphalt as we can. We're given an August 12th deadline by the FAA to spend all that money, and we're going to spend it doing all the asphalt work first.
So complete by 12 August?
Yes, sir.
Probably won't be right there to catch it.
Maybe they got others besides lack of planners.
And Mr. Chair,
Yes.
if I can make a recommendation, with all the current construction projects that we have going on, as well as some that will be completed in the short time frame, perhaps at your August meeting, we could tour the members out there so they could physically see some of those things.
I think that'd probably be a good idea.
Because we were fortunate in transit, one of their buses over to our operations, so we have a bus that we can haul you all around on to see these things.
Is that gonna be a permanent fixture to the airport?
Yes,
Well, you can strong people, can't you, Bobby? Good for you.
so I just think it'd be helpful for everybody to be able to physically see some of these things.
Okay. All right, any other questions on the apron rehabs? So we don't, last question on that. We don't expect to do any concrete work on that.
Not on that one, not on this.
But we did have concrete
We
that
did
had to
have
be
some-
done.
Yeah, we had a schedule of concrete. It's just in the short amount of time, we can spend that grant better on asphalt.
Okay, because it's in worse shape. Okay,
And Chairman, if I might give you some history on that, that original build or MAP grant, which is Military Airport Program, grant was first issued in 2020. The FAA prefers that you complete grants maximum in 2 years.
we're a little
Obviously,
beyond that.
this one is 5 years old. They did one extension a few years back, which the FAA doesn't particularly do extensions. We tried to get another extension. It took them about a nanosecond to evaluate that and with the no. So fortunately, Lochner did a very good job in talking to the contractor to get done the work we're getting done and be able to spend the money on the grant before that drop dead date. So we don't lose the money, but unfortunately, we weren't able to do everything we would have liked to have done.
So to go back then to the concrete, I know we've got, I mean, anybody that's flown lately has walked around out there, and there is some unevenness and, caulking in between slab areas and stuff like that. But we're saying that none of that likely is gonna have adequate funding to get anything done.
Time wise, so what we can do is reapply for the next MAC grant, which is coming up. It's actually in review in DC right now. And, we'll reapply for that MAP grant and then hopefully get money to do this at a later date.
Okay.
I mentioned before that we've got a lot of grant work to clean up and things to do. This was certainly one of them.
Right. Yeah, especially if it's that old.
If I can add to that, so in October when we had the big floods, we're actually on the side of Alpha. It's in violation of the FAA standards because of that if you've been out there to see it, it's like, chunks missing out of the edges. So with this grant, and it's been needing for years. They're gonna go ahead and just take it off from the edge line of Taxi Lane Alpha to the grass in some areas.
40 feet.
Yeah, so it's gonna be all new. So it's gonna look nice. It's gonna take out all that grass that keeps growing up in between the lights. I think it'll be better for the airport because that's the first thing people see when they come taxiing to the terminal is the grass and the asphalt just chipping up out everywhere. But it should be done by August 12th.
Is the deadline for them.
Okay. Well, it's good hot weather to do asphalt, so.
Yeah.
Okay, Taxiway Charlie.
Actually, Charlie, Amy here, that's her project. She just we had a pre-bid on it. Bid opening is next Tuesday. And, we had some good contractors in there. Because you have 3 of the better contractors out on the field right now, so. So you have a captured audience.
So bids open on the 15th? Okay. And do we anticipate that we've got enough money to do that?
Yes,
Okay,
especially with the bidders we have, the contractors we've had.
okay. And so is that something that has to be done before September?
No, we would start after.
So after the air races? Okay. Terminal improvements, Bowles and Corbin.
As we talked about earlier, the restroom work is ongoing. They're working on the main restrooms, and shooting for get those at least done before the September. We're hopeful they'll be able to get into. We'll have to make a judgment call in the next few weeks with them in August, anyways, on what we can get done before the races. The generator, we're working with the city on finalizing some options on that and pricing, and working with MAC on procurement strategies on that. We'll not move that forward until after the races. We certainly don't want to get into the electrical system in the terminal during the races. That's progressing, so we should get something procurement after sometime. I'm thinking October, November, get that moving out. Any questions on those projects?
We do have adequate funding to pay for the generator, do we not?
We believe so. Yeah, the costs are coming in. I think we're probably pretty good on that. Of course, that's our estimate. So trying to work with some local contractors on some pricing there. So yeah, but we're finding that there's some generators out there that look good for what we're trying to do.
An actual location where that's going to be set up, is that in a cranny out here somewhere that's already got concrete laid for it? Or we're gonna have to do a lot of prep work?
We're trying to put that out just east of the existing electrical room, east side of the terminal there. I'm not sure if we have room on the south side of that wall, or if we'll have to build a shielded wall. We certainly don't want that as your front door. There is existing concrete there, but we'll have to demolish a lot of that concrete to get the conduits in and stuff like that. But we'll put it it'll be on a pad and raised and all that. So we're trying to set that right next to that electrical room. I don't know if you can hear me. Are we back? Oh.
We're approximately 50% complete with the water line. Council is considering approval of the bid for the sewer line to the same location. That project was bid out last month. However, the low bidder retracted their offer. So they went to the next lowest bidder and they're considering that this month.
Okay. And those will be laid concurrently?
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions on that? southeast water line.
Mac, that's also gonna have the fiber conduit put in there, one of those lines.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any other questions on the water line? Mike, I think you're off the hook. I think Bobby had enough info and staff had enough info to talk through.
Yeah, I
Both
apologize.
the
It keeps dropping me out off and on, so I apologize for that. Yeah,
Okay, so I think we're good. I think we got enough info.
we just need dry weather, please.
Okay,
But Mike, I can tell you the next item, which Mac will talk about, is grandstands. Have you heard from Mr. Dennis?
Anyways, it's going to be a nip and tuck, but we've got a pretty good contractor and they're motivated, so hopefully we'll get there.
No, I'm talking about on the grandstands, says Jeremy Dennis.
So on the grandstands, they are in the airspace is in review. I just had a email conversation with Jeremy Dennis at FAA. He's trying to push it. They've got some manpower problems at FAA, but he knows it's important and he knows it's a priority and he's trying to get it out as soon as possible. So.
They've had that for how many days at this point?
Well, we had to resubmit late last week on one of them because of their system is they revised their website, and I don't know what happened, but we got it back in, and so he's working it. He couldn't give me a date. I'll keep checking back with him, Bobby. I'll check with him every couple of days.
Thank you.
Mike, we've got a lot of different things going on, but other than figuring out how to get enough food to Roswell to feed all these people, the grandstands are probably the most critical thing we got going right now.
Oh, I totally, yeah, absolutely. It's not just the permanent construction. We've got a redesign on that. That's being held up. But more importantly, it's the temporary bleachers that you all have found. And I will keep pushing. Believe me.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, that should be no problem. Any good, decent Trump girl ought to be able to get that fixed. So I got ice, it's time for the Trump girl to earn her weight over here.
She's only
I'll jump right on that.
Do you have any thoughts on that, Mr. Mayor?
I did, the Trump girl right there, she's the one bragging about it. Wasn't one of the Epstein girls, it's a Trump girl.
Thank you for that.
That's nice.
Bobby, I'll give you a call tomorrow, but maybe it's worth a call.
Yes.
To up the food chain a little bit.
I think
calling one of the senators or congressmen.
I think, I don't know that we're to the point of trying to get Trump on the line, but that's the critical factor.
Yes, sir.
If 10,000 people don't have a place to put their butts down, this is going to be a bad deal.
Well, it also impacts other things, the location, which is, of course, been holding things up.
And not to mention all the tickets that have been sold already.
Yeah, tickets have been sold for the grandstands, but also the placement of the home pylon is based on where that grandstand sits. And that's a 4 to 5 week project to set that up. So we need to know the location to be able to set the home pylons.
Work your magic, Provine.
What's that? Yeah, I'm.
Okay.
Probably we're gonna have to put you with a flag and put you in the highlight convention up there.
I'll do it.
Any other valid comments on where we are on grandstands? Or anything we think we can encourage anybody to do on the grandstands? Okay. Let's move forward on flood repairs, Mac.
Yes, thank you, sir. So we're finishing up repairs to the terminal in the next week or so. Working on scheduling some of the harder to access areas in terms of security. And then looking past the terminal to flood damages, we've got FEMA site inspections scheduled on July 18th. I believe we're looking at 10 different locations on that day.
And those site inspections have to do with fencing, security, what's?
Other building damage, some of the air vent damage that Omar mentioned earlier.
So we won't have a comprehensive list until FEMA comes through.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions of Mac on that? All right. Mac, let's talk about Challenger Drive drainage project.
So I did receive a quote to make the changes that we've been discussing to address the drainage along Challenger Drive. In looking at it a bit closer, we think adding a valley gutter to the street would help the flow and getting the water out from in front of the building. And so I've submitted that quote to the streets department for review.
So a valley gutter in the street, that's Challenger Drive is pretty narrow right there, the paved part of it. I mean, it may be 15 feet.
Yeah.
So you're saying rebuild that and put a concrete gutter in the middle of it?
Yeah, just cut and patch a strip to help the water move to the ditch.
And so the water then would flow back to basically back to the west?
I think it would go to the south and then to the west.
Okay.
Or to the east.
South and east, and go across the airport at that point.
Right, and the goal again is to get it back to the airport base drainage that's already existing.
Okay, and so that goes back to the south on the westerly end of the building that's having problems.
Correct.
And of course, there you've got, I mean, once you get to the fence, you've got all concrete there.
There's the concrete doesn't go all the way to the fence. I think there's enough room in between.
So we got to get it out onto the concrete to flow back south.
So are you talking about the empty lot that's due west of?
Yeah, there's an old, I think there's parts of an old foundation there.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, so we're not trying to get it on the old foundation. We're trying to get it in a ditch next to the old foundation.
Okay. What kind of interaction have the two of AirSail and engineering had?
We discussed it after the meeting, after last meeting. I think they were agreeable to the changes.
May I speak?
Sure.
just bringing up, the water back into the airfield, we do have to be careful with the SWIP program. Because now we're taking technically water off from the airfield and putting it onto the airfield.
Right.
But, another thought would be, how close are we gonna get to the fence? And so we don't want the fence to become, easily accessed, right?
Sounds to me like there needs to be at least one more meeting with the tenants' input.
Okay.
So,
Can you do that?
all right, let's see if we can get that done here in the next week or so to do final approval of what you intend to do. Please. Okay. Any questions from anybody on this drainage problem on Challenger Drive? I think we're not quite there yet. Okay, Mr. Fisher.
Good afternoon. So as I talked about last month, we did our lessons learned from the PRS event, applied them to our upcoming event in September, and we are on track to get our amendment of the TSA midweek next week, which is before our 45-day requirement. So we'll have that in place, ready to go. And then we'll start putting parts and pieces and everything onto the chessboard and start getting things arranged for what we need to do in September. Boeing, the latest on them is that they may or may not be showing up on the 15th next week. That was as of yesterday. 50-50 chance is what I'm giving it, but we're prepared one way or the other. They did drop off another 40 applications for us through, so my team over there is just been swamped with the construction, Boeing and everything else going on there, but we are where we need to be.
And Boeing's still looking at 300 bodies to be here for this?
Give or take. It ebbs and flows about every 5 minutes.
Okay. Any questions of Mr. Fisher?
Yes, Don, I guess your request to the TSA includes 24-hour access that the pilots need or have asked for, that we're trying to accommodate them.
It does. To keep it at a high level, essentially, once TSA approves what I would like to put into this, whatever access they need on that side of the airfield is completely up to the air race event coordinators and their committee.
Is that the only special thing that's not
That's
dealt
critical
with?
thing.
Thank you.
I'd also like to commend Don and the security staff, because on top of all the Boeing thing, then we also had Bombardier come in.
Right.
and won another 30 badges for their folks, so security has been quite busy. Plus all the contractors that needed badges.
Start trading for badges.
We do.
They've been
Cash
getting
up front.
They've been getting it out pretty quick too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's helped us a lot without having to do escorts. Because now they have badges.
Since you got weeds to mow, yeah?
Yeah, a lot of weeds you can sell out there, right?
We're trying to grow them.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Thanks, Don.
All right, is that it?
That's it, sir.
All right, thank you. Paul, let's talk about airfield conditions.
Weeds. Well, we finished off that. No, what we got going on out there, like was mentioned, is we have a lot of, we have several contractors out there right now. We have Mountain State, J&H, and constructors all working on different parts of the airfield as we speak. And the good thing is Don and his team has gotten and provided their badges, so it's allowed us to not have to be on the escort with them all the time. You know, it's allowed us to free up our guys to get caught up on the mowing. I didn't provide any pictures this time, but like Bobby mentioned about escorting you guys out there so you can see the how we progressed and what's going on would be nice. You know, load y'all up in the bus, take you out there, kind of see what's going on out there. I think it would be nice for you guys. So that's kind of where we're at. And the power lines, we've located the power lines. The ticket has cleared, so we're able to dig to get those power lines buried. So we did speak to Andrew yesterday in the meeting, and they're supposed to get on it sometime this week, correct?
is Eric, the one that's gonna be doing the digging. He contacted me today, so he's probably be out here tomorrow, start digging.
So these are power lines for,
For the air races,
Except for Excel.
okay.
They're
They'll go
very,
out to taxiway, Charlie?
no, these are power lines that are around the airfield,
Okay.
and they're in the way of the
flight course, the different courses, sports class and, several different classes that actually fly the course.
Pilots don't want to worry about losing an engine and have to land with power lines in the way.
Sure.
So they're immediately west of 1735 that were identified, and I think isn't Excel who's going to bury them?
Yes.
So, I mean, they continue to be a godsend for us and what they provide us.
water
Joby
plant.
and Antonio are great.
Water plant's gonna come out and dig the ditches, and then Excel's gonna bury them.
And those ditches are 59 inches.
18 inches wide.
Yeah.
Probably just have to stand on the lines when they bury it.
So that's, so we know
That's
it's
the mission statement.
We know we got it deep enough.
I'm 60 inches.
You can see the top of her head.
Have to
Yeah,
squash
yeah.
her hair
He's
down.
gonna walk across it, yeah. Yeah.
Heels are gonna be hard.
Other than weeds then, Paul, what else you got?
That's what we got. We've got caught up with all of our FAA inspections. The painting they asked, we went ahead and completed those. And
I notice you've got some painting done out front. That looks a lot brighter.
yeah, we have Geneva's cleaning services helping us out there painting out there. So
Okay.
yeah. So
All right,
Okay.
Paul, if you don't have anything else,
No, sir.
Michelle, let's look at property report, please.
So the vacant property report, I don't have anything new for upcoming, which is good. Everything that is on there is accurate.
Mr. Chairman, Michelle, on 93, is that completely ready to go? Did we get the restrooms reinstalled and walls up, back up, or is it
that's a cookie factory.
yeah?
No, the restrooms are not installed.
So it's really not,
Walls are still down.
and we still need AC, I mean, because we lost a copper someone stole, so it's really not really marketable then, is it?
Well, I mean, it's an as-is building, is that what I would say?
But all you can use it for is storage
Storage.
right now.
Yeah, because
You really can't even use it for office.
Right.
And there's, if I remember right, there's probably 15% of that building that's office space.
yeah, that's quite a bit of
Yeah,
office
there's a
space.
lot of office
I've been
space.
in it
The
a
front
few
half.
times.
House in the back,
Yeah, the front half is your office.
yeah,
The back
and
half.
the back side is the warehouse.
So is 90, Bobby, is 93 something? I mean, that's a usable building for warehouse type stuff. Likely more demand for that than 1081.
Yeah.
And so is that something that we need to get a good number for what has to happen to make that thing?
But we're gonna use it
Rentable?
strictly for warehouse. I wouldn't worry about too much of the fixing it up.
Well, it's only for warehouse right now
Yeah.
because of its condition. But that was a manufacturing facility. So they used it for years, doing a lot of different things in there.
Yeah, if I remember right, there was a flood because of the utilities. So they removed all the sheetrock walls and some of the utility and some of that, and this has been about a couple, 3 years ago. And there was plans at the time to go ahead and do that work so it can be rentable, leasable. I don't know whatever happened to that. But I think there were some bids received to at least do because you can't use the restrooms in there because all you have is studs and you can, so it would be great if we can at least get a cost estimate and we can plan for the renovation because it is a really good building for development because it's a good size. That 36,000 is really good. I showed that, used to show the building a lot, but I quit showing it because none of that work was ever done.
I think a lot of that electrical work needs to be pulled out.
I think the plan was to get someone over there, take a look at it, bid on it, and I don't know what happened after that, so,
Okay.
but it would be something to consider.
So Bobby, is that something that we can get someone lined up?
Yeah, I think it'd be helpful if Mike's still online, perhaps when they're here doing 1083, they could also do 93.
If they can,
Yeah, while
that's,
they're on site, do both.
yeah, as long as we
We
can.
get building trades to do it. Building trades would be
It's got a lot of problems, Tim. It really does.
And then after we get the numbers, make an evaluation.
Right, and then decide how you want to proceed from there. But I think if we do that, it'll give us an idea, because it's the bones are good in that building. Like, so I've been in it, and it's just a matter of, do we want to proceed? Because we don't know what it's going to cost.
Well, and we have to understand what the marketability is, even as a fixed up building based on empty facilities within town and so forth.
I think the plan was that it already has 2 bathrooms in it, so they didn't want to put more money into why does it need more bathrooms on the backside of the other bathrooms?
Might be a
And
good
maybe we
CIP
don't.
plan.
Right.
Maybe we don't, but it's got to be functionally usable,
Somebody can drop.
even if it's going to just be storage.
Well, and certainly, given the cost to get it to where it's meeting code and interesting, I'd want to have a better understanding of what demand is.
Well, we can work on all that, but we need to identify what's got to be done to it.
Yes.
Okay.
CIP
Oh,
plan, give it to the legislature.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Michelle, I'm gonna put down on this that we're gonna get with Moles and Corbin and see what they can do to give us a heads up on that building.
Okay,
All right?
all right, so my lease summary report. So I have upcoming leases that I'm gonna work on, which is number 91, actually, Carlson Walker. And then, we got, Red Mountain to City Council, which is good. And everything else we have on here, we're just in negotiations.
His walkers, do his doors open? It used to be really hard to open.
They do, so we've gone out there several times, myself, Omar, Paul, they do work. Gotta put a little force in it, but they do work.
Not as old as his dad flying, but he's getting real close.
I know.
A lot of it is.
And we offered to give him a new tea hanger and he didn't wanna take it, and so it is working to open and close.
So I know the one that, Michelle, that you've been working on, of course, is the holdover leases. Do we see completion of moving holdovers to new leases anytime soon?
I would say 30, 45 days.
On
Certainly on the Kevin, Aerosale, and, who am I forgetting?
We already did the one with
We
Red
did.
Mountain.
Red Mountain's done.
Is done.
There was another one. Then we just got, the Aerosale's comments are just done, working with city attorney, and that's ready to go back for them for signature and take to council.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Michelle?
No, sir.
Any questions of Michelle? All right, thank you. So,
And I'd like to introduce the new general manager for Aflac, Kevin
Okay.
Brown. Floor is yours, sir. Introduce yourself.
Good to be back. So I think I left 4 years ago, so it's good to see you Commissioner again, Mr. Hitchcock. Obviously very excited about where the airport's going. The air race is going to be an exciting time. I'm excited to just be back here. It's been a hard and fast week and trying to get everything kind of gathered up and see where we need to make changes and gather, kind of elevate that standard of service that we'd like to bring back to. And just be a good partner for the airport.
thank you.
Welcome.
So Kevin, the key here is, have you bought a house here yet?
Not yet. I was waiting to see when the flooding stopped so I could buy a house. It wasn't.
Kevin, you gotta get it uphill.
We can tell you about the.
Yeah, uphill.
Bobby, you might tell him, we may not listen to all the people at the airport, he's glad to see. Let Bobby out the other.
That's important.
Gonna get in trouble. Oh.
He's being quiet today. All right, Kevin.
For comment about.
Kevin, we're glad you're back. Thank you. Okay, what I would like to do is flip a couple of these items, and let me ask the attorney, is it satisfactory with you that we do our NACAR update and then talk about date changes? Then if people need to go, they can go, and you have the commission here to walk through what you want to walk through?
That's your show.
All right, as long as that's.
We already approved the agenda. We have to amend the agenda. Sir. Just saying.
Okay, we'll move forward.
I'm not in disagreement, but I'm just saying, matter of procedure, we should amend the agenda.
Okay.
Changes. Yeah, it's easy to do.
Chair to entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I would suggest and recommend moving item number 12 below the
Item 14.
item 14 in an agenda adjustment at this point.
Do you hear a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, let's move forward then with our NACAR update.
Mr. Chairman, I defer to Mr. Fred Telling, the chairman of the board and CEO of the.
Since Fred is here, he's got a handle on everything, doesn't he?
Of the Reno Air Race Association. Yes, sir, he does.
Okay.
Just ask him, he'll tell you all the answers.
Well, I appreciate that vote of confidence. As they say, God says, He never give you more than you can handle. All I say is God's got more confidence in me than I do some days. So that having been said, with enormous support from the state, the city, particularly Mike Matthews, everybody else on the team, enormous progress is being made with all the airport personnel to get the facilities up and ready. You've heard the key issues that are still awaiting. That's clearance from the FAA around the issue of the grandstands location, placement, so we can finish some other things. The things like parking plans are in place. There's a big meeting about that tomorrow. Traffic management, buses are being lined up. So my position continues to be unbridled optimism that while it's going to be tight, we're going to be ready as long as the FAA doesn't screw us. We are beginning to see some impact in ticketing. I'll have more data soon from the fact that we're literally running up against any local housing capacity. The good news is we are finding people coming forward with houses they're willing to rent some rooms in and other things. We have got a lot of RV space, but the cost of RV space for some of the pilots or crews are higher than they want to bear. But the biggest concern I have is, the earlier hope that we could convince a majority of our fans that couldn't get into Artesia or Roswell, that they'd be willing to go to Carlsbad or Taos or Ruidoso. It's proving to be more of a challenge than we anticipated. We knew it would be a challenge, but it's a tough sledding right now. The other major challenge we have, quite honestly, is I knew that we would have a challenge bringing our fans here and getting more in a new location, but I had underestimated the challenges of being able to sell major sponsorships to people basically in these communities who have never seen this event. Outside of the team, that represented Roswell and the state so well. The fact of the matter is, everybody else begins to clearly know the races are coming, but, you know, as they used to ask Bobby, their next question is, well, what are they again? And, you know, I be perfectly honest with this group. You know, I came into this with a belief that we could sustain a loss in the first year, upwards potentially of $1 million. I'm now a betting man, and I think I'm going to get awfully close to that. And as long as I'm awfully close and I don't get significantly over it, we still have the capacity to keep moving forward. We're going to learn a lot this year, but the event ultimately is going to be smaller than the last one, which was a huge event in 23 because it was the last one in Reno, largely because some pilots like the Unlimiteds from California, they've been so spoiled being able to just fly over from one state to the other. We're still in negotiation to see how many of them we get to come to Roswell. So that all having been said, I think we're still going to have a fabulous event. The economic impact on the near area communities, I think, is going to be very significant and positive. And we're going to move forward, come one way or another. But I can't thank everybody enough for all the energy and support they put into making this. And as I said early on, I bought a house because I figure I'm here for at least the next 3-4 years to see this thing firmly established and launched. And I'm enjoying my time in Roswell. So all I can say is Bobby and I have searched a lot of houses. If you want any insights on the market, at least as of 4 months ago, we'll give you an update. But anyway, that would be my overview at this point. I'm glad to take any questions.
Any questions for Fred? And any comments, Bobby?
I yield my time to the chairman.
Mike?
Mr. Chairman, the food and beverage piece of this,
Tomorrow.
tomorrow at 9 a.m. at the ITC at the Commons area of the university, we have a vendor meeting. It's 9 o'clock tomorrow, the 9th, ITC here at the university. We have about a dozen or so folks that I'm aware of. There's some folks that will be calling in. But one of the things that my office is doing is we're actually contacting all our restaurants and all our grocery store. I mean, we're contacting everybody about getting ready. You know, one thing we learned recently, very, very recently, during the UFO festival, that a lot of folks ran out of food the very first day. And that's the UFO festival. Can you imagine what's going to happen come September if they're not prepared? So our hope is to alert people to really think about the impact. And I think that's where some ticket sale numbers, Fred, might be helpful for us to kind of give people an idea what they can plan for. Because obviously no one wants to overbuy. But what happens when they, because, the first thing that's going to happen is RVers are coming to town, they're going to go to the grocery store, they're going to wipe off the shelves, right? So there's going to be a lot of challenges in that food and beverage piece. And so tomorrow, 9 o'clock, even if you're just interested, come on by and listen to it and share the information. If you know people in that food industry, of any type of food industry, beverage industry, sure, please help get the word out so they can be there and at least get some questions answered.
Now I wonder if you shouldn't invite Albertsons and
we are
farmers.
Yeah.
Because they need to be prepared to support it.
That's right.
Well.
That's right.
Well, in the convenience stores also.
It's pretty much everybody. So anyone has food and bev is going to be impacted, I think.
Just so you know, I had a conversation with Charlie Blanca about a week ago, and specifically about food and beverage. And he indicated that he would be pleased to put something on KOB and KOBR and spread it around the state, reference anything that we can do. But I think he's willing to be our right arm on getting the word out to people.
Great. I know Charlie. I'll give him a call. Charlie, by the way, is retiring the end of this month, so he's been a really great he's advocate for Roswell.
But he is going to do some consulting for KOB, at least what he told me.
For a year.
Yeah, for another year. So that means he'll be good through the air races.
I'll give Charlie a call.
Okay. Anything else from anybody on RAW? Okay, everybody get your calendars out. Let's look at item 14.
Well, September doesn't have a date. What does that mean?
That's because it falls during races.
It falls immediately prior to, no, it's a week before races. So let's think through the process of where we are. So August, the 5th is first Tuesday. That's when we're kind of scheduling that. Our goal on this was to get financial data and other information from the prior month. We haven't been real good about being able to get that. I know this month was a glitch in trying to make that happen. And we'll get that out to commission members. But realistically, there's 2 working days prior to the 5th of August to gather that info up. So do we want to just keep it on the 5th, or would people like to maybe move it to the 12th?
Mr. Chairman, Bobby, how much time do you need? I mean,
Well, it's not us, it's finance department.
how much time do they need? I mean, because you know.
I mean, here we are several days later because of the change in fiscal year and some software challenges with financial software, those hit. Probably a safer bet is the 12th,
Yeah, I agree.
if that works in folks' calendars.
And that's a week before a week of the council meeting too.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
So, Mr. Chairman, I would recommend we move it to the 12th of August.
Any other comments?
I think that's folly. I don't think we should push for the finance people to have statements ready. I'd rather see the year-to-date financials, details. If we could see those by August 12th, I'd be elated, or August 5th.
Just not the prior months.
Yeah, they can't do it, or they're so busy, and they're gonna be, to get ready for their audit that's got to take place. So
Well, a number of things, I mean, they've lost people, changed people.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So I don't see things are going to change anytime soon. So let's.
Give
So
them more
keep it on
time.
the 5th.
I would, or I would ask if we could.
We can check and see what she thinks she can get done. You wanna just let her find out tomorrow. I don't wanna overwork her because she's been working hard.
Yeah, they've been
Well,
working
let's-
7 days a week.
Yeah,
I mean,
let's not.
But if it doesn't matter, then, you know. we
Let's-
wait.
Let's have year to date on the 5th. And if they don't have July, they don't have July.
You know, our finance chairman sometimes goes hasty about some of this stuff. So, we gotta be careful about this. You know, I want him to be in tune with this and happy with that. I don't want him to be.
Carrie, do you have a comment?
No.
Sean? Okay, then let's, it looks like we've got 2 or 3 no comments, and John saying let's go with what we've got on the 5th. So 2 o'clock, August the 5th. Okay, September. The reason that we don't have anything in September is because of all the activities around the air races. And I guess I'm wondering if we need to have a meeting in September. So that's why there's no date here.
Yeah, to give you some more background on that, although the public days start on the 10th of September, we will actually have a number of, the pilots already here, the air race staff will be here. We will be we start setting up the end of August, so staff-wise, we're buried.
It makes sense to pass on a meeting in
Yeah.
September if that's all right with you, Bobby.
Oh, very much appreciate it.
Yeah,
And the
initial-
board.
Okay, all right, so,
But Mr. Chair, just a comment. Could we leave it on the books and then cancel it? In case something comes up where we have to approve something? You know, we don't know what's gonna happen
Good idea too.
100% between now and then.
Oh, good point.
But with the idea, it would be an empty agenda, but at least it's on the books and that way it could still be
Nothing comes up.
publicly advertised and,
you're always thinking.
So September 2nd?
yeah, I guess.
Would be our
it's,
Yeah,
the
leave it,
first
yeah, leave it
Tuesday?
September 2nd.
And that way if something comes up that we have to approve, we can get it done.
And of course, Monday's the holiday.
Labor Day.
So I know we won't have financials then.
No,
Pretty sure.
Swimming pool will be open till then. So it's
so likely, we might need to cancel it, but we'll get it, as Sean has indicated, the Friday before, 29th of August, we'll,
Friday before enough for the.
okay. All right, October. October the 7th is the first Tuesday. That gives us hopefully adequate time to get financials, but I don't know. So I would suggest leaving it on October the 7th, 2 o'clock. Any questions on that? Okay. Bobby, I'm not sure why I do know.
Yeah.
We moved, Veterans Day is the 11th. So we thought we'd move to Wednesday afternoon instead of Tuesday. Because the 4th is Election Day in November. So we've got two things on Tuesdays right in a row.
12th is good.
I have a community college board meeting that day.
Oh,
So.
We'll miss you.
what time do y'all start, sir? Well, we could give a challenge to get through
Through
quickly.
2 o'clock, yeah, 2 o'clock.
By 3.
We'll let you,
Yeah, we
we'll let
could
you out a
on
few
that
minutes
date
early.
because-
You can rush.
Okay.
All right. So the 12th, which is not a Tuesday, it's a Wednesday, 2 o'clock.
But again, Bobby just suggested we could start earlier that day to accommodate. We could do that at 1.
I'm sorry, Bobby, I didn't hear you.
If it helps, Dr. Bell.
1:30? 1 o'clock? 1?
Sure.
1?
What day is that?
Carrie?
November
That works
12th.
by me.
1?
Of course, you'll be providing lunch. Yes. Oh, there we go.
Bobby will.
Ah.
So Sean, if we accommodate your needs,
Sure.
would you be here?
Yes.
Okay. So let's set November the 12th at 1 o'clock meeting instead of 2 o'clock. All right, and then last month of the year, December, the regular meeting would be on the first Tuesday, 2 o'clock, which is the 2nd. There's one work day prior to that, so we likely wouldn't have financials for November, but we should have year-to-date. Any comments or questions on Tuesday, the 2nd of December, 2 o'clock? Okay. All right, Bobby, I think that takes care of our dates then, and Della, we may have to cancel one meeting, depending on what happens. Okay.
And that's,
Yes.
That's an action item.
Yes, you're correct. That was under action items. So the dates that we have gone through, I think everybody's got those in your calendars. Chair would entertain a motion to approve those dates and time and one time change.
Second.
Been Della, it's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Okay. The only thing that we haven't taken up then is the attorney talking to us about AAC orientation and any reports from public. So do we have to change the agenda again to have public input? Do what?
You move it to a specific place. So,
Yeah, this is
I mean, if we had to do it the first time, then.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, if there's one thing, part of this is probably my fault, but anyway, there's 6 items, there's 6 pages in this item 12. And I'm gonna tell you, when we took over and we went to the state auditor with all the problems we had in the city of Roswell, there were a lot. And if you look at the audit report, and so Hess is, partially this is probably because of me, but I want everybody please read this, because when you read the audit report and how damaging it was, I don't want to see any more. I don't want any more letters. I got a couple of my guys on the council that are high finance and everything, and it's really important that you see what the laws are so we don't get audit reports. And I hope you don't mind do that. It's just take a chance, and he'll go through them, but quickly or whatever. But he'll just take a chance and read them, because we have to comply with the laws and keep our nose clean. And I never want to put any of our council members through what that audit report put us through. And so, sorry if that offends somebody or not, but these are all just little things that you have to do in modern government. And, you don't mind just looking at them, so everybody knows where they are, and just so we can keep it all up and above board where there's no problem. I don't want to have anybody else tell me how I built the water line. I built that whole water line out there just for me. And, and so this keeps it all clear so everybody knows nobody's hiding nothing. So, thank you.
All right, Mr. Attorney,
All right,
you're on board.
welcome. So you have a new member, and so you get an orientation.
Hooray.
Thank you for joining. Let me tell you what you just signed up for.
Sorry.
No, this is, so boards in Roswell are governed by the conduct of boards that we're doing, and this is for every board in the city, is governed by section 2-99 of the city code. So, some of these you guys are pretty good at for the most part. Be respectful to the city council. That's really more guidance. If you got to tell Bobby and Ed what you really think, Notice too that this was drafted by the city council back in the 84 edition, and it excluded the mayor. So Tim is not entitled to deference under the ordinance. I didn't write it. Okay. The ones though that are kind of important, especially in light of our audit findings I've highlighted here. So first is don't delay or obstruct an application or issue before the board out of malice, prejudice, or financial gain. So we normally will conflict things for you, just like everyone knows Mr. Hitchcock as lease here, that just doesn't touch this committee at all. Simple as that. So I keep an eye out of any conflicts, and if I see it, I'll just let you know. Maintain confidential information consistent with public disclosure laws. In New Mexico, we have really broad disclosure laws, and the way your board is designed is pretty much everything is going to be public, because things that you would not have subject to the Open Meetings Act, which we'll discuss in a second, you guys aren't really privy to. You don't do employment, you don't do negotiation, you don't do litigation. So 5 is perform duties with integrity and competence. This is some magic language that puts a fiduciary duty on you. And we'll talk about what that means in New Mexico. But for the most part, well, there's another slide for that. Anywho, don't make statements to the council in support or opposition of this board's decision unless requested by council. The idea here is that you vote as a board. You're not individuals. So none of you, your advisory capacity comes as a body, not individually. And then finally, don't lobby governments, the legislature, businesses, or associations on behalf of the board unless the council is given permission. So the council in the strategic plan assigned duties to the board that you guys sent to the council. So if it's in the context of the strategic plan, the council is given permission. Otherwise, you shouldn't necessarily be going out on your own unless as a board member. So like Mr. Spiritu represents the city in part because the city funds EDC. That's a different capacity. He just needs to make sure that that's separated. The same thing for Mr. Dr. Powell. If you're doing something for the university, just don't say you're doing it for the airport. Oh yeah, and you don't get to be paid by law. So there you go. No good deed goes unpunished. All right. So also in the ordinance that generally enables boards in the city is the Open Meeting Act. This is a long quote, and you guys have the slides if you want it. The here and there of it is that everything needs to be noticed 3 days ahead of time, and all decisions and conversations should be made in public. The Attorney General gets cranky about what's called a rolling quorum, which is the game of telephone. So if all 5 of you decide what you're going to advise before you discuss it in a public meeting, that's verboten. Now, technically, the Open Meetings Act only applies to you because the City Council has decided to impose it upon your board. So I'm not worried about the Attorney General calling us up and saying this air board is doing something wrong. But again, it is how the council has designed you guys, and we try to follow the laws as written. So that's what we have to do. I'm keeping this quick because I know everybody's got 5 o'clock plans. Something good. Bars open back down. All right. So when we're talking about, you guys actually are part of this really old, in history, chance to do some historical stuff. What's called the public trust doctrine, and you guys are exercising it on behalf of it. So New York City, as you can imagine, is what pioneered municipal law in this country. Going back to 1815, so before the boroughs were unified, everybody understood that boards and commissions acting for the city, in particular the city council itself, has a fiduciary duty and does everything in public trust. This also pairs, and what I didn't include up here, is our FAA obligations. You guys are, and especially if you look at the audit, you're definitely here to help us make sure we're compliant with the FAA rules. The core rule for us financially is that everything we do has to be towards self-sustaining. We don't have to run at a profit, but we sure can't run at a loss. And then the second part, which we did have a litigation with, your guys, but we settled that stuff, was about part 13, and that's equal treatment of all similarly situated tenants. So if we're going to have all the MROs are getting the same treatment. All general aviation is going to get the same treatment. All non-aeronautical actually has even higher standards. We can subsidize, we can't subsidize if it costs the airport its financial integrity, but everybody who's not aeronautically related has to be at fair market value, full stop. That's just the law. And so if you guys think that we're missing that, that is the big thing about how you advise us. So you're here to help us maintain the public trust. Anywho, finally, you also have a fiduciary duty. The fiduciary duty is in that ordinance that I said is competence and care. These are really the 3 main elements. So there's a duty of good faith, a duty of care, and a duty of loyalty. If you've served on any board, you know about these. So good faith here, and is the Attorney General of New Mexico, is Nana believes it's not opposed to the best interest of the corporation, and when I say corporation, we're a municipal corporation, so we are a body corporate in the legal sense. We just happen to get a monopoly on violence. Okay, care. So do what the ordinary person would do in a similar circumstance or position. And finally, loyalty. Act in the interest of the city rather than any personal interest that's required for the financial view of Roswell. Another part of the duty of loyalty, that, because this was already crowded, is duty of loyalty means following the city's own internal procedures. Which is, it's kind of a weird thing when you think about it, but by signing on to this board, you've agreed to comply with the laws that apply to the board, hence why we started with that first block the way we did. So let's talk about the AFA. So you guys are created by a resolution, 2268. The resolution was created through the power that the council, through the ordinance that allowed for boards to be created. Now, you're authorized to make recommendations to the city council through the legal committee and the manager for development and improvement of operations, facilities, leases, contracts, and assets. So please note this is an authority of the commission, not individual members. And I repeat that because it's your five of you talking together in a public setting, working out what could be better, is how this is designed in light of the Open Meetings Act and your fiduciary obligations. So typically you also make and this is the one that you guys have been really helpful with, like, especially with the strategic plan, concerning the long-term facility and operational needs of the airport. Now, what you don't have authority to do is supervisory or management authority over any city employee or any contractor, or to act on behalf of the city in dealings with the tenants or the contractee. And so this is all pulled out from the resolution. So that's pretty. So you're here to help us do better. You're here to help us make our meet our fiduciary obligations and our FAA obligations. Okay, just to give you kind of, so leases are a lot of what the airport does. We have, over $250 million in assets in terms of buildings. If you were to value all the concrete out there and how much it would cost to do this tomorrow, it probably 50, 60, 70 billion at least. Like 4 feet thick, good concrete. So in any case, real property in the city is leases and conveyances, which is what we do here a lot of, are submitted to the governing body by the administration after negotiation or prior to bidding. So the council in Chapter 2 has vested the administration with the negotiating authority, and ultimate decisions, depending on the value of the lease, go for final approval to the council. Generally speaking, so you guys have helped design our leases, though, which is how we fall into that leases and contracts portion. And then just let you know why I'm the one giving the talk. So I'm the one who shall, so I kind of have to, even though I wish I could push it off on other people, draft and prepare all contracts to be entered by the city. So whatever Chad and the mayor delegate, I then put into fruition on paper, and then it goes to, well, Ed and Bobby have to deal with it at that point. So we can keep going. And that's really the main stuff. The Open Meetings Act, for counselors, I covered in a lot more detail. We just want to be mindful of it because that is what the internal law of the city requires. Otherwise, if you've got questions, you run a reasonable show around here, so keep it up. But if you look at the audit findings, you'll kind of see that fiduciary stuff is really important. The board wasn't even legally composed of people 4 years ago. So we had Burris and the previous mayor on the board, which both were unlawful, but details. But you guys are properly and legally assembled, which is exciting. And there you have it. So now we've checked our audit box for proper training.
Any questions of the city attorney?
So, thank you, Chairman. To be clear in my mind, so should we be looking at leases like we used to do, or we don't look at leases, or?
So Chapter 2, the original one, we were going lease by lease, and then between the changes, so Chapter 2 was changed after your resolution was passed, which is delegated specific. Before that, there was actually no leasing authority with manager's office, which was another audit finding. So we codified that in a process. And then
When you say the manager's office, are you referring to the airport manager or the city manager?
the city manager, and then there's a legal delegation to, so what we didn't put up is Bobby's authority. There's an actual ordinance that covers her legal authority, and then Chad additionally, and the mayor. Well, actually, it's really the mayor through Chad to, the ultimate executive authority rests with him. So the state law says he's the CEO of the municipal corporation. Chad is the CAO of the corporation.
Is it 9% of the dollar?
Yes, and so there's two things. So Ms. Thompson's ability is based on a separate ROW ordinance and Chad and the mayor's delegation to her. The ordinance that, so in law, the more specific ordinance or law always controls. So the city has a very specific threshold about what lease goes to whom and how. So if it's under a year and under $20,000, Chad and I execute it administratively. If it's more than that, it goes to the city. If it's a real property sale for $25,000 or less, it can be done administratively. If it's, 10,000. If it's 10 to 25,000, it goes to council for a summary vote. And if it's above 5,000, it has to go to ordinance. So it's dry, but.
If I may, one other question. I recall being in a legal committee meeting, it may have been 2 years ago, where, it was expressed that chair at the time wanted us to look at leases and recommend them to legal. Now, is that still in effect or not?
Well, there's a couple reasons that is, so first to get that chapter 2 ordinance passed subsequent to that. And then, that having, one of the board members having a company that he helped manage, having a debt to the city and voting on whether or not to approve of similarly situated contracts was something that I wasn't going to allow. So we can discuss it moving forward, but when that priest person was here, he never completed himself, never told me about the possible conflict, never mentioned that they owed the city money. That was a big issue. So, and like I said earlier, my primary ethical obligation is to the body corporate. So I'm going to help you guys not get into a ethical issue.
Any other questions of the city attorney?
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Do we have any reports or announcements from any of the commission members? Do we have any from city staff, airport staff? What about any of the attendees at the meeting? Any comments, questions? Hearing none, no public participation, the chair will entertain a motion to.
Is there anyone online?
I don't know whether we've got anybody left.
We had some folks.
We outlasted.
I don't think we've got anybody
I
left.
just want to make sure.
The chair will entertain a motion to complete the meeting.
So moved. Mr. Chairman.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Moved and seconded. All those to adjourn the meeting, all those in favor signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. No.